Everybody, welcome to Late Horror Show. I'm Dino as always, and we are going to start talking about Night Gallery, something I haven't revisited in a long time. So you're going to get my take on these episodes. So here we go. Let's get the intro, and then we will start going. What the heck happened? No, intro again. Let's try this one more time. What the heck?
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey everybody, that was crazy. There was a little hiccup in the intro, but oh well, here we are. Again, Late Horror Show, Dino, here I am. I'm going to start talking about Night Gallery. I haven't visited this show in an awful long time, and I think I haven't even seen all the episodes, believe it or not, but I've seen most of them. And honestly, I didn't see this first one. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't. Listen, I was a Twilight Zone guy. And then, of course, I love Night Gallery. And I did watch what was on TV when I was younger, and my parents would watch. And so I would catch, what was going on, but never seen them all. So I really want to concentrate and go over these episodes. Like me and Dave Plouffe, visiting older shows. I never seen Columbo before. I'm watching Columbo of all episodes. I never thought I'd be doing that and watching it and loving it, but here I am. So let me say hi to everybody, and then we'll dive into Night Gallery, and in particular, this very first episode, The Dead Body and the Housekeeper, or the Dead Man and the Housekeeper. It's the first story, The Dead Man, is kind of like I'll talk about it in a minute. It's kind of like a Frankenstein kind of deal going on here, but in a supernatural way. Very different, very interesting. And I got to tell you, anything Rod Serling was involved in, definitely very creative. You know what I mean? So even though the plot is simple, sometimes the story in itself gets complicated. So I can't wait to talk about it. And as always, please chime in, you guys in the chat. Always chime in. Tell me your memories, your favorite episodes, whatever about this episode, whatever. I like you guys interacting and being part of the stream. With that said, please hit that thumbs up button. Check out all the links below and all that good stuff. Overnight tonight, I got more fixed audio of Philo Vance, so it's streamed like number 4, I think, over the 4-year period. So Philo Vance tonight, as Dino hiccups into the microphone. But let me say hi to everybody. Let's see who's here. Paul Ham, what is going on? A lot of great character actors in this series. Yeah, wait till I talk about Larry Hagman. Oh my God. It's funny seeing Larry Hagman in here. But yeah, lots of character actors for sure. I can't wait to get some of the ones with Roddy McDowall, because I love the guy. The guy's awesome. Planet of the Apes. I mean, come on. Edward Stewart, thank you again for the Ovaltine, and I'm going to have to go check again on that. But thank you. Sweet Indigo, what is going on? Good to see you. Hopefully everybody has a good New Year also, which will be tomorrow, which we won't be doing nothing on the show tomorrow night, which me and Dave usually do Sunday. It's going to be the next day, Monday. We will be taking the New Year predictions and having fun talking about prediction shows that Art Bell did and stuff like that. So it'll be fun. Listen, I got a lot to say about some of the predictors and stuff like that. The predictors. But anyways, Francis McCloskey. Laura is here. Hey, Laura, what is going on? Good to see you. Ed Stathis is here. Good to have everybody here hanging out with me tonight. I really do appreciate that. Michael McBride, what is going on? Welcome. Good to have you. The Blu-ray sets for all the seasons of Night Gallery are fantastic. That's the other thing, Paul Ham. If you want to see Night Gallery, well, I found Night Gallery, but you need to have all of the DVDs. It's not streaming anywhere but I can mention archive.org. Anyways, yes. Let's see. Anybody else? WWM is here. Just don't want to miss anybody. Hey. Dave Plouffe will be back. Unless it looks like he's back now. Hey, Dave. Yeah, we're gonna have fun talking about predictions and stuff like that. But yeah, let me do a quick read, just like a couple paragraphs here of Night Gallery and Rod Serling. Rod Serling, born on December 25th, 1924. Yeah. Was an American screenwriter. Christmas was American screenwriter, playwright, television producer, and narrator, known for his live television dramas of the 1950s and his science fiction anthology TV series, The Twilight Zone. Probably the greatest, one of the great. Well, I would say it is the greatest sci-fi series that's ever hit TV. I don't know. Maybe that's going overboard. There's a lot of science fiction TV, but none the length of time and like the Twilight Zone, and every one of them were great. And it was sci-fi. There was some supernatural, some other stuff, some paranormal types, but Twilight Zone. Serling moved on to his next project, Night Gallery, which aired from 1969 to 1973. A good run. I mean, he was to die. He died what, 2 years later, unfortunately. Um, Night Gallery was an anthology series similar to Twilight Zone. I have to differ with that opinion. I think vaguely similar that Rod Serling had a lot of creative juice flowing in both of them, but I think they were different. And I think just because of the difference in decades, it just has a totally different feel. And Twilight Zone hit sci-fi, different types of topics, whereas Night Gallery was a little bit more gothic in nature, and because of the decade it was in, and like I said, a little bit more supernatural, a little bit more horror based, rather than science fiction. But each episode was introduced by Serling in the role of the curator of the dim, shadowy museum, where he would unveil a painting that depicted the story that it was about to unfold. The paintings, I'll get to that in a second. The painting for this first one, the dead man and the housekeeper, you can see there's a lot of abstract paintings for these episodes, and the first one in particular, which I love. I love the painting, but how it depicts the show, I don't know. The show is remembered for its atmospheric and often eerie storytelling. The format of the Night Gallery allowed for a variety of writers, because it wasn't all Serling, writers and directors to contribute, resulting in a diverse range of stories. So you got a lot of different stuff. Some of these stories were adaptations of classic horror literature, while others were original scripts. Kind of like CBS Radio Mystery Theater, right? Anyways, Rod Serling's influence on the genre of science fiction and horror television was significant. His work in The Twilight Zone, come on, and Night Gallery, just different, showcased his ability to blend social commentary with elements of the fantastic, a style that has influenced many writers and filmmakers in the genre. Serling's narrations and on-screen appearances added a distinctive touch to his shows. Yes. There were a couple other shows that did that too. Circle of what was it called again? Ghost something. Circle of Fear. Circle of Fear. That's what it was called. Where am I at here? Writers remain recognized in America. Sadly, Serling passed away on June 28, 1975, but his legacy. Anyways, all that goes. So yes, I do believe Twilight Zone and Night Gallery are two totally different shows, and you get that feel. So Rod Serling involved, but split them up a little bit because they're totally different. You know what I mean? I mean, even this episode, it's more of a Columbo feel because of the era it was in, right? Than Twilight Zone, because Twilight Zone was black and white. Twilight Zone focused a little bit more on different types of topics. So, but just good. Don Gray. The last couple of seasons turned into a platform for Collins, the Sixth Sense episodes. Yes, Don Gray. And again, I'm going to the Sixth Sense. You guys are talking. I'm gonna. Did you ever listen to the Night Gallery reader audio versions? They were very good. Yeah, Philip Drown. Philip Drown. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, you can find them, I do believe, on YouTube and all that good stuff. But yes, those are very good. I love it. Circle of Fear with Sebastian Cabot. Yes, yes, yes. That is the one. Allowing for other narrators. Let me see. Bubba is here. What is going on? 2 episodes with Vincent Price in them. Paul Ham, I'm telling you, man, it was a good decade to get some really cool actors in a lot of the shows from the 70s. Listen, made for TV shows like even Dallas and Falcon Crest and all these other things, they all were packed with stars. You don't get that anymore. You know what I mean? So as much as I say the 80s horror, fantastic, and you can't duplicate it. You just can't. Same thing with the 70s. I mean, when it comes to 70s TV, horror, it's just, you can't replicate it. You can try, but it's just hard to do, in my opinion. William Cromer, good to see you. What's going on, my friend? A happy new year to you all. Hopefully, if you guys are going out tomorrow night, having fun, doing a party, whatever, hopefully you guys have fun. There will still be a overnight stream tomorrow night. So you can rest assured on that. But me and Dave on Monday. So there you go. Let me get to what's the Sixth Sense? Francis McCloskey. Just don't want to miss anything. I'm freezing again. It's supposed to be 28. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's cold here too. Edward Stewart, Douglas Hayes, 1993 director. He was 73. Always good stuff there, Edward Stewart. I believe it was also called, yes, Ghost Stories instead of Circle of Fear. The first season, I think, was called that, and then they changed it to Circle of Fear. But yeah, getting to this Night Gallery episode, again, I want to start covering each episode. And they're broken up, at least this first episode's broken up into 2 episodes, mainly The Dead Man, and the second one is The Housekeeper. 2 totally different stories, but both very, 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 very good stories. Like I said, we start off with The Dead Man. This episode aired December 16th, 1970. It's 51 minutes, encompassing The Dead Man and The Housekeeper. And yes, the actor Larry Hagman is in The Housekeeper, the second one. But the first one, The Dead Man, again, it's kind of a Frankenstein kind of story, but in a supernatural way, dealing with hypnosis. Very interesting. Let me go and start off talking about this. Okay. First of all, Rod Serling's coming up to the painting at the beginning of this episode, giving his input and narrating the coming story. And it's called The Dead Man. And you look at the painting, which is, again, it's abstract. There's some red and some colors there. And I wouldn't even call it a dead body. I mean, you see a head, some arms kind of out like this. The painting is very, very cool. They are oil on canvas, as Serling says, oil on canvas, but they are very abstract in nature. Again, let me go over here. Let's see. Everybody's throwing in stuff. Let's see. Paul Ham. John, listen, I've got plenty of time to talk about this episode. It won't take very long to get through the stories. So if you got something to say, please do. Leonard Nimoy was in it. Night Gallery, John Carradine, Bill Bixby, Grayson Hall, all had appearances in this series. Very cool. Ahava, what's going on? Shalom to you. Good to see you. My children's grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher, and one Sunday, let me get this up on screen. One Sunday, a little old lady asked for a prayer for J.R. Ewing on Dallas because he's been shot in the episode before church services. Ahava, you're cracking me up. That's so good. Oh man, I love it. Okay, let's see. A couple more, then I'll start talking about it again. Michael Blodgett from The Dead Man was in the Velvet Vampire movie. Very cool. Okay. Um, kind of sounds like the painting of Dorian Gray, Panicked Penguin. Good to see a panicked penguin. Not so much so. Again, I'm trying to give you the impression of if you've never seen it before, it's just an abstract painting. Abstract paintings is like you get out of it what your brain can process. I mean, again, you can after hearing The Dead Man, you look at it and you see a dead man. But if you didn't hear the title of the episode and you were looking at the oil on canvas of the abstract painting and you just looked at it and you wondered, what could this be? Everybody would get a little bit something different from it. The housekeeper also kind of, I mean, definitely abstract, but I think you can get the housekeeper out of it without knowing the title. But anyways, that's it. So then we're introduced at the very beginning. We're introduced to, hi, Unc Dre Finest. The paintings have a hidden theme. Yes, they do. And I'd like to do a full episode just on that because there is some hidden themes, Paul. Yeah. Boy, Paul, I wish you were good on film and coming on. I think you're just very full of knowledge. But yes, I think there will be an episode just on the hidden meanings of the paintings themselves. But again, as someone just looking at a painting, not familiar with certain aspects of artwork and stuff like that, I know Dave Plouffe is. Everybody gets a little bit of something different out of an abstract painting, and that's kind of what it is. But we're introduced to a couple people at the beginning of this. First of all, I love the fact, love the fact that I got to stop looking at the chat. I will keep going over there are some H.P. Lovecraft stories on Night Gallery. I figure, yes. I love that it's a big mansion, kind of, well, not mansion, but it's an estate like they would do back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, where there's the Dr. Max Redford. Dr. Max Redford, who is played by Carl Betts, best known for the Donna Reed show, some other stuff. But Dr. Max Redford is a doctor who lives in this huge estate, and he conducts his work out of his estate, which again is a gigantic mansion. And it's awesome because there's a room that they show during the episode where he does all his surgical work. Again, it's a throwback to the old days when doctors could perform surgery out of their home or their estate. I mean, in this case, it's an estate. That's what you would call it. It's just a big, acreage of land, and the home is just beautiful. I did see in one corner though where there was some leaking going on from the ceiling, from the roof. I think they would have caught that. But anyways, Dr. Max Redford, who plays I call him the Dr. Frankenstein character, but not really. He's not bringing to life anything, but he is tinkering with life. And on one patient in particular, who is John Michael Fearing. But again, I'll talk about him in a second. But Dr. Max Redford, he lives in the house. He's the doctor, all that good stuff. His good friend, Dr. Miles Talmadge, a little bit older gentleman. I will say who he's played by Jeff Corey. Jeff Corey, who is, I'm looking at some of this stuff here. He was in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, True Grit, Little Big Man, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. So this guy, Jeff Corey, been in a lot of stuff, but he plays Dr. Miles Talmadge. He's his friend coming to visit Dr. Max. and just coming to visit, seeing what he's doing. Why don't you come back and do your work in my practice and stuff like that? Really wants him to take part in the medical field again, but Max is so caught up in what he's doing here because he found out through uh, some, I wouldn't even call it powers that he has, but I would call it powers, whatever. It's supernatural. Hypnosis is a thing, okay? Hypnotizing somebody and making them believe something is a thing, okay? Not for everybody. Not everybody can be hypnotized, But what he does on this in this episode is he becomes all powerful, and he's got a hold over this John Michael Fearing, who is this suntanned, long blonde hair, handsome young man who Max's wife, Viela Redding, ends up going for and falling in love with. And I'll get into all of that in a second. But he basically, Miles walks up to the surgical room where he's conducting research with Max. And on the table is John Michael Fearing. He's laying there. And what he ends up doing is, and I thought this, if you've never watched it before or seen this episode, Max goes and taps on with his cane or a little object. He taps. So each tap is going to cause John Michael Fearing to do something different. And I'll tell you what that is in a second. Let me go back to the chat. I don't want to neglect you guys. Let's see. Time Riley's Bar was nominated for an Emmy back then. Hey, Regina. What's going on, Regina? Good to see you. Happy New Year to everybody. WTF Horror and Sci-Fi, the time-traveling medical bag was great too, but terribly predictable. Well, I can't wait to see it. Jeff Corey was the cemetery worker in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Yes, Paul Hamm. Yes. All-around good actor. J.O.B. I have a confession to make. I've never watched Night Gallery, but love The Twilight Zone, so I have some catching up to do. It's a different show. J.O.B. People lump them together because of Rod Serling, but they really are two different shows altogether. Same genre type thing, just different time periods, different look to the films, and different topics. Edward Stewart Blodgett also in Beyond the Valley of the Dows, the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, Monsters. He also was the co-writer and scripts of Chuck Norris, Hero and the Terror. Look at that. YouTube has Night Gallery? Connie, no, I don't see Night Gallery on YouTube. Maybe an episode, a couple, but there's not a whole lot of episodes on YouTube. There was only one place I could find this episode because you can't find it anywhere. Archive.org. So anyway, his parents were both hypochondriacs. Well, okay, yeah. I'm going to get into that, Paul Hamm. Okay, so John Michael Fearing. Let's talk about the patient that's on the table or the bed. His parents were both hypochondriacs, and so Fearing gets an almost mutant ability from them. I guess that's a good way to put it. But yeah, he would always come to him with these, thinking he's sick, he's ill, something's going on. So Dr. Max found out that he had the ability to do hypnosis, and then he started tinkering with hypnotizing John Fearing. And while doing so, he would hypnotize him into thinking he wasn't sick. And after a time of this working, he would start to hypnotize him thinking that he has an illness or anything he could think of, he could hypnotize John Fearing into believing. Being a doctor, he did the best he could for him and wanted to keep going with his experiments, okay? But when he does bring in Dr. Miles. Max says, "What do you see on with the patient over there? What do you see?" And as he looks at him, he starts to give a detailed, starts giving details on what he thinks is his problem. You know what I mean? Anemic, his flesh is cold to the touch, whatever. You know what I mean? And basically, you hear Max hit his cane 3 times, okay? And he goes, "Well, no, why don't you look at the patient again? Look at the patient again and tell me what you see." He turns around and without questioning, because he noticed the taps, so he's going along with this. He goes, he looks at him and then he starts going into detail. It's basically a rotted corpse, a very, depleting body and near death and all that other stuff. And then he goes into it a couple more times where his body's bloated, and he talks about, forget what it's called, where your body bloats and your veins get you like kind of swelling and all that, edema or something like that. So each time and then he picks up on it and goes to Dr. Miles, or Miles goes to Max and goes, I hear you making the sounds. And then he goes into the whole story about he's figured out the hypnosis part. He's been doing these experiments, and he can make John Faring basically do the only thing that tripped me out, which made it more supernatural than it was just hypnotizing somebody, was the actual effects that it gave the body. Like when he gave him this, put him in the state of whatever, decompose. I mean, the body looked black. I mean, if you could be, what's that? Necrop, whatever. I mean, his skin and body was black. And then another minute, it's not. So if you're able to transform the body into looking a certain way and being a certain way, which is the way this is going to end, that's supernatural. So the story revolves more around the supernatural side of things than just hypnotizing and a doctor hypnotizing a patient and making him feel a certain way. But yeah, so I mean, he keeps doing that. And explains that John was was psychosomatic. And Max hypnotizes different patterns for different illnesses. Vila Redford, beautiful woman. She was. Let's see. Let me go to that really quick. Vila Redford, Louise Sorel looks very beautiful in this. I was trying to look to see what she did. Airplane 2, the sequel, Star Trek TV series. She was on there. Days of Our Lives, Santa Barbara. So again, a lot of TV stuff. But man, she was a beauty in here, and she was very gothic looking too. She wore a long light green dress, and it just flowed. And she was just very, very beautiful. And you see them at the table eating dinner after all of this, and Vila walks. Well, she comes into the office first, interrupts them, and then you find them all eating at the table next. I wrote notes, people. I wrote notes. And he there's a little bit going on, okay? Because at the dinner table, she's enthralled with John Faring. You could tell she's in love with him, but yet Max, the husband, won't do anything about it, because Miles even confronts him and says, why don't you just have him go away? I mean, or come back and start doing your medical, with me and stuff like that. But he said he wants to continue his work. And if he did anything to mess that up, so he allowed them to continue their relationship. Let's see. Louise Sorel returns in the Pickman's Model episode later. Paul Ham. J.O.B. It's good to see you, Uncle Leo from The Honeymooners, when he slaps Ralph on the back. Great episode. Uncle Leo, yeah. Uncle Leo was in quite a few. I think I saw Uncle Leo in one of our Kolchak episodes I do believe. 67 thumbs up. Let's get 33 more. Really? Let's see. How many thumbs up we at? Let's see. But 71 thumbs up. Thank you guys all very much. I really appreciate it. I know I'm going on. I'm get long-winded. It'd be nice to have Dave here, but he does his Sundays with me. So let's see. Back in the surgical room, Max makes him. Oh boy, no, I've gone too far there. What's going on there? Okay, so am I there already? See, this is going to go by pretty quickly because I'm jumping right to where they're back in the surgical room. But let me see. What are you guys saying here? And then I'll get to the ending of this. She was in Days of Our Lives. Yeah. Edward. She was Night Gallery full episodes I found here on YouTube. What? Ahava? I kept looking. I kept looking myself. Full episodes, Night Gallery? No. Let me look. I don't believe it because I looked all day long. Full episodes of Night Gallery. Let's see on YouTube. Well, they're mixed up. No, if you look, even there's one Rod Serling's Night Gallery. I'm looking. Doesn't have them all. It has 1 minute, 3 minutes, so they're not episodes. If you go to the other playlist, I don't even know why I'm doing this because I did check these all later. There is an episode of Night Gallery, but it's intermingled with other stuff like Circle of Fear and everything else. So I don't see it. The Night Gallery. Here we go again. Circle of Fear, Thunderbirds. No, it's mixed with all kinds of other things. Check the playlist. I don't see it. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Hey, Night Fright Talk Show. What do you think those original paintings are worth? Oh, geez. Setempkia Falls. Greetings, everyone. It's a joy to be here pre-overnight for once. I'm very frequently involved with them. Nice. Hopefully you have a good new year, my friend. Thank you, Connie Clary. As always, hit that thumbs up, the bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay, so let me jump to it. So again, basic plot, but there's a lot going on. They're back in the surgical room again after, after Miles knows what's going on. His wife certainly knows what's going on. And John Faring is back on the table again, the bed. Why do I keep calling it a table? I think it's Frankenstein, but it's a bed. And he's got in Miles. I'm not saying Miles put it in his head, but there's a little bit of something in Max's head where, okay, if I can hypnotize him and I want him to leave my wife alone, I can make him give him any illness he wants. But for some reason, he starts to tap again. And this time he asked the doctor, he asked Miles, what now? What is his symptoms? He takes a pulse. He says, there's no pulse. He's dead. He's dead. So he taps again. He goes, well, check it again. Tap, tap, tap. And when he did it, this time he goes, rigor mortis. Rigor mortis. So he physically stopped his blood, hardened his, all of that stuff that happens when rigor mortis sets in, which takes hours sometimes to set. But he did that. He's got superpowers. Anyways, whatever. Wait, some of the paintings are missing. Many are in private collectors now. Sylvester Stallone bought a few and had them in his studio office as Paul Hamm. Very cool. I see a list, for example, of the creepiest stories from Night Gallery by a channel called Blind Dweller. Oh, don't give other channels names on here, but yeah, no, okay, I'll look again. But I did find them on archive.org. They are over there. So I don't need to go anywhere else. I do think I am going to pick up the Blu-rays on Amazon. I do think. I think going forward, I can get those to me very quickly. But so he does that, and then Dr. Miles is like freaking out and saying, listen, listen, Satemki Falling Tree, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Thanks for everything, Dino. Thank you, Satemkia Falling Tree. I really do appreciate it. This $20 super chat means a lot. Really, really appreciate it. Still have the advertisement from UFO Magazine. Thank you, Satemkia. Much love to you. Much love on the new year. Have a great new year. Hopefully all goes well. Check the length of the episodes, probably only 3 minutes. Well, that's what I'm saying, Ed Stathis. I looked and looked and looked. If you look in the playlist, you'll see that there's 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. So, but archive.org had them. Okay. Anyways, enough of that. The Blu-rays are excellent. Have a lot of the extras and well worth it. Okay, there you go. Very cool. Anyways, Miles says, Max, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because he's thinking, you got this in your head and you're going to kill this guy now. You had him, well, he could be off, on an island or something like that, he mentions, and he kills him. And, well, he doesn't kill him. The symptoms are that he's dead. And what he ends up doing is he goes, boom, 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 which comes into play at the very end. But yeah, he can't revive him. He goes, I don't know why it's not working. I'm doing it. 3-in-1 tap. 3-in-1 tap he's doing, which isn't what he's supposed to be doing, because at the end, Dr. Miles is going to figure out what's going on. Yeah, Dino, they ain't there, man. Yeah, no, I told you, man. They sold the posters, Oh, did anybody read Rod Serling's Brooks any good? Yep. Anyways, so yeah, that ends up happening, and then the next thing they're at, his wife comes in and screams, but they're at the funeral. They're at a funeral. And it's funny because his wife says, as Dr. Miles, after the funeral's done, first of all, I'm like going, oh my God, they're burying a guy that's technically probably alive, but all signs show that he's dead. One of my greatest fears in life, which is why I'm going to be cremated. So I'm just saying, the biggest fear, that and drowning in water. I don't know. Those are my two biggest fears. But they are at a funeral, and at the end, Dr. Miles says to Viola, want me to walk you home? And she goes, no, it's very close. It's just right over there. She goes, me and my husband did joke that it's funny that we were so close to a cemetery, being that the work that he did up in the house. So I thought that was very, very cool. Very cool. Let me jump over here real quick. I just want to see how many thumbs up. Let's see how many we can get up to. 77. Okay. Thank you. So they walk back to the house, and after the funeral and all that, and oh my God, some time elapses during the funeral and when Miles comes back. Okay, because there's a little interlude where Miles leaves. He's got to go work on his practice, and then he ends up coming back to the estate, the doctor's house, Dr. Max. And as soon as the door opens, it's his wife, Viola, who is looking very sickly. So I immediately know that, listen, Dr. Max is doing something there. He's probably giving her symptoms that, that is affecting her. So, or she's just so distraught over the death of John Faring that she's sickly. But for some reason, I think that Dr. Max was doing it. They never said, but that's my take on it. How many seasons of Night Gallery? Well, it did go from what did I say? 1968 to 73. So is that 5 or 6 seasons? So three seasons? Am I wrong? Okay. Anyways, okay. So Dr. Miles comes in. He goes into the office of Max, and they Do I go into depth too much? Do I go way too in depth on these? You let me know if that's the case, because I could for sure shorten them up. That's for sure. Um, Late 69, 73, Ed Stewart. Be right back. AFK. There you go. So what happens is the two doctors get in there, and Max tells Miles that he says, "Hey, listen, can you please go over? This is all my work dealing with what I was dealing with. This is all my work, my cassettes from beginning to end on what I did. I did recorded all of it, and from that point, Miles takes it into his room. He's spending the night at the estate, and he goes through all the work and he listens, and he notices something at the very end, where when Max told John Faring that you will snap out of it, it was to be 3 taps followed by 2 taps. And Miles comes in and tells Max, listen, you did not do that. And he's going, no, for sure. I know I did. Pilot was in 1969, seasons 1977. Thank you, Paul. So then they get into discussion. Oh, I think I might sneeze. You know me, open book here on the channel, whatever happens. Okay. So he tells him that. He says, you didn't, whether consciously you think you did 3 taps and 2, but you only did 3 and 1. You did 3 and 1. That wasn't the signal to bring him back to life. 3 and 2 would bring him back to life. And in comes his wife, Viela, and she screams, ah, you know what I mean? And she goes booking out of the house, and she runs straight down to the cemetery and the mausoleum. And she gets the mausoleum door open where John Faring is laying out. And she bangs on it. She goes 3 booms, and then followed by 2 booms. And next thing you see, Miles is following, and then Max is running after. And then next thing you see is Miles looking where Max is, and Viela is over by one of the, by the mausoleum, laying back, looking with a fright look on her face, like she's dead now from fright, but she's just sitting there. And then you go over to Max. Max is laying on the ground, holding the decomposed hand of John Faring, and the other hand of John Faring is around his neck. So I took it as, I don't know how to take that ending there. That was a little ambiguous, because he was holding one hand off. Did John Faring with that decomposed hand strangle Max with one hand? But they just showed them there as if they were both dead. John Faring wasn't moving, which was a little curious. Maybe that was his last movement, choking out Max to death. I don't know how that's possible. I think Max should have, but again, it's superstition. It's or supernatural, not superstitious, and that's how they end that. That's how it's ended. So somehow he wanted him dead, and subconsciously he didn't do the right taps, or did he? I don't know, but he was lying in that frickin' coffin for an awful long time. And that's the end of the Dead Man. I thought it was, again, it was very, very cool episode. Very, very cool. Very well done. Yeah. And then we move on to the Housekeeper. So let me look at the chat, and then I'll talk really quick about the Housekeeper. And then we'll take it from there. Roddy McDowell was so good on that. Roddy McDowell was at his best in that. What are you guys talking about? The Cemetery was the best in the pilots. Are you talking about the Cemetery? Is that the one with Roddy McDowell? You're welcome. Steven Spielberg's first was on the show. This was a great episode. Shadow Cube 69. Yes, it was. It was. First one, very good. Not the pilot. I went straight to the first one. Supernatural strength, Shadow Cube, Shadow Cub. That's what I'm thinking. Because I mean, the whole thing is supernatural. I mean, hypnosis isn't going to get you to make your body dead or go into rigor mortis state. It's just not going to do it. So there's more behind it. It's supernatural. So, and again, I will hit at one point some of the meanings behind the paintings because I know that comes into play. That's why it's at the start of each episode. So, but now we're at the housekeeper. Okay. We're at the housekeeper segment, and it's about 20 minutes long, a little bit shorter than the dead man. But let me get to it here real quick. The housekeeper, Miss Waddle, the housekeeper. This episode deals in black magic, and you got Larry Hagman playing Cedric Acton. He's got a wife named Carlotta Acton, who is very rich. It sounds like a Dallas episode, right? Who is very rich, $7 million rich, but it's all her money. And Larry Hagman's character, Cedric, he does black magic, okay? Plain and simple. Let's see. I accidentally posted a link to the playlist to the upcoming shows page on Discord, but they are hour-long episodes. Well, you can delete it if you want, but to the upcoming shows page on Discord. Which one, Ahava? Was it archive.org? If that's the case, that's fine. As long as it's not the YouTube ones that aren't. But that's cool. Joan Crawford gets an eye transplant. Whoa! Yeah, no. But anyways, listen, The Housekeeper. Really, really good episode, okay? Let me love that. Thanks for everything, Dino, that the Satemkia Falling Tree $20 super chat again. Because you can love it and heart it and all that good stuff. Okay, done. Again, that's basically the premise. Larry Hagman's character, Cedric Acton, can't stand his wife, his wife, Carlotta, who's a beautiful actress. Let me get her up here really quick again. Carlotta Acton, played by Susie Parker, who was in Funny Face, 1957. The Best of Everything. Let's see. Funny Face stands out. Looks like a lot of other. She wasn't in an episode of The Twilight Zone. One episode. What episode was that? Let me see. Looks number 12, season 5, episode 7. She was in Looks Just Like You, 1964. Very cool. But yeah, very, very beautiful woman. And she's cheating on him. She just don't like him. But she's not divorcing him. I don't understand what's going on there. I really don't. Susie Parker is married to Bradford Dillman. Oh, no, I'll go delete it. The lovely Susie Parker. No, as long as it's a good link, that's fine. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, delete it then. Yeah, it's somebody's playlist on YouTube. Yeah, thank you, Ahava. I'll delete the link. Yeah, please do. The lovely Susie Parker, 1932, 2003, kidney failure. She was the first model to make $100 an hour and $100,000 a year. Wow. Never mind, it's not full episodes of Night Gallery. Anybody just jumping in, the only place you can find it is archive.org. You can't find it anywhere else, otherwise you got to buy the DVD. So anyways, Larry Hagman is Cedric Acton. We start off at the agency where he's trying to get a housekeeper, and it's funny because he's asking for a housekeeper. There's Miss Waddle. She's just really old, and you can tell they did her up with just to make her look even more ugly. It just was kind of funny. But Cedric Acton is looking for a housekeeper who is an old hag, she says. He says, to be honest with you, he's looking for an old hag who doesn't give a crap about anything. He doesn't care what you look like. If you got any friends, references, nothing. He just wants you. So she's the perfect candidate. And she was happy. She goes, that's me. That's me. So funny. So funny. Um, so after that, he ends up showing her things, and then he takes her to dinner. He takes her to dinner and he goes, see that? That's my wife over there talking to that guy. Listen, this is going to be a quick one. The episode ain't too long, not a lot into it, but there's some funny parts. He goes, that's my wife over there. She's just cheating on me. She's 7. How would you like? And then this is where he basically convinces her that what if there's a way? I don't think she believes him, but what if there's a way where you can be her? You can have the $7 million. We can split it. Yeah, that comes into play too. And look beautiful and have her looks, her body, be young again, all that good stuff. So it sounds great, but she goes back to the estate. They show her they show her room. His wife is pissed off, says, why do you hire these lousy housekeeper? Who are you to? This is the last straw. You are done. You are done. We're getting a divorce. It's over with. We're done. And what I thought was funny about that was, he just, there's nothing he could do about it because she had the money. But he told her, Miss Waddle, he said, if we can do this and we're able to do this, and he was so sure of himself, we can do this. I would have you sign a contract of some sort. That's what he said, which kind of differs from the very ending, which threw me off a little bit too. Because he said we could draw paperwork where, we could split the money and all that stuff. Unless I'm forgetting, but I just watched this. So, she's like, oh, okay, but you know where that story's going, right? Is she going to really share $7 million with him? Listen, I would. I say, listen, I'm splitting now, going to live a life. Here's because of what happens afterwards. But basically, the next thing he does is he brings her where, let's see, I'm trying to stay. It's a personality transplant is what he calls it. The same bodies, but through black magic, and particularly the frog, because the frog is a good conduit when it comes to voodoo or supernatural or black magic and anything like that. A frog is a good conduit. So do your research. Anyways, it's a personality transplant. It's basically transporting your soul from one body to another. That's basically it. The old switcheroo. So I loved when he took her to show that it could be done by showing her all the animals. Show to transfer souls. Yeah, you're welcome there. Cheaper on the Kino site. Yeah, I have to read all yours. I definitely will catch up and read all your stuff after I'm done talking about this real quick, which I'm almost done here. You've got a cat who is doing an like a jungle bird. You got a bird that's making a meow sound. So you got all these animals with transported souls and the old switcher transferring. He called it, personality transplant, which I don't like that word because personality is not the same as soul. But it is what it is. I don't know. I didn't write the episode. Listen, it was still a great episode. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I'll give my rating after this. But I saw Pepe in a cage, Edward Stewart. Yes. The DVD sets are very cheap on eBay also. Yeah, you could find them probably cheaper on eBay. Yeah. So after he shows her all that, he shows the frog and he says it's a good conduit and all that good stuff. It's, he's so sure. He knows it works. So you don't see any, like, I hope it works in his face. You see that it works. So the next thing is he says, I'll take you to your room. Okay. And he takes her into her room, Miss Waddle. And he brings a chair up to the little desk that's there, like the makeup desk type thing, and he sits her there, and he puts the picture of Carlotta in front of her, and he says, "Listen, I want you staring at that picture until 9:01." I think he says 9:01. I want I want to see you in the library at 9. So she's got to stare at the picture all the way walking to the library until they open the door. And the whole time, it's kind of funny. Carlotta's arguing with him and all that good stuff. And he walks up or she comes in the door right at 9 o'clock, and he's got the frog up to Carlotta's face, kind of. And they look at each other when the Miss Waddle comes in, and she looks at her, and they immediately, there's like some blue lighting giving some effects, like, whoa, what's going on? It's the 70s, yeah. Late 60s, more of the psychedelic color. Anyways, they look at each other and immediately switch souls. That's what I'm calling it, because it's a soul switcheroo. And I thought what was funny was Miss Waddle had this really old Southern accent kind of thing going on in Miss Waddle. Carlotta, young, beautiful body, was talking like this old lady with maybe it was an Irish voice. I can't quite get a fix on her, but she's talking like that. And I'm like going, it just don't go together. Everybody she knew, which she wouldn't be around anyways. But that was funny. But it worked, and it switched. But she was freaked out, and she didn't want nothing to do with it. And she ran up to her room. And this is where Larry Hagman, Cedric, he's just like, because he was running after her, wanting to make love to her. He's like, listen, you're my wife now. So, I mean, dude, why would you not wait? Give it some time. Wait. Don't freak her out. Literally minutes after you just switched her soul into a younger woman's body. I was just like, what are you doing? But he was immediate, like, yeah, I think with your soul and her body, we could live it up and be married and happy and all that. And he was just, he chased her up the steps, and she slammed the door. And come 3 days later, funny. Come 3 days later, he opens the door, and she's got her suitcase. She's all packed up, and she says, I'm leaving. She goes, I just can't, and he goes, and basically he thinks, okay, well, 50-50. And she goes, oh, no. I'm taking the whole 7 million with what you did. I'm taking the whole 7 million. And that they were talking in the library again, which makes you think, oh, something's going to happen. And I was a little confused at the very ending. So Paul Hamm, if you have your take on the very ending of this after I talk about it real quick here, you let me know. But she was going to take the whole 7 million and leave. And then all of a sudden he brings out the frog, and then the door opens, and a very elderly maid opens the door, and you get the same transfer of souls. But the old woman, I don't even know if it's a transfer of souls, because they didn't show Carlotta's body, which was Miss Waddle in Carlotta's body. They showed the last thing they showed was the old lady, the last maid in the credits. I don't know, the old lady who she says her last words were, how many times? How many times? So that could have been Miss Waddle going into this old lady's body, and the old lady going in Carla. Oh, there you go. I figured it out. Okay, so that's why she said how many times. Because as soon as she opened the door, and the old maid that was at the door, Miss Waddle went in there, and she started saying, how many times? How many times? How many times are you going to do this? So she jumped in Carlotta's body, and now she's back in an old woman's, a very old woman's, even older than she was, but yeah, old woman's body. And whoever that old woman was is now in Carlotta's body, starting the whole thing over. So he can keep doing this over and over and over, I guess, until he gets the right soul that's going to, or like I thought, sign up paperwork before the whole thing goes down, right? And then you can leave her be, and you got $3 million. So anyways, um yeah, so that's what I thought. You're welcome. They are cheaper on the Kinos. Oh wait, what am I doing? Let's see. So basically that's the end of the Housekeeper. Again, talking really quickly about that painting, that was a little bit abstract. It was black and white. You could tell it was kind of a housekeeper though. Again, meanings behind these paintings in a later episode, I think. Let me get through some of these if I continue doing them. I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoy me talking about these episodes. So yeah, no, that's the episode, season 1, episode 1, and solid stories. Again, I think plot's basic, but story and actors top notch. Just like the Kolchak series, Columbo, you get good actors and actresses in these series. So yeah, very 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 good. So yeah, different than Twilight Zone though, you guys. Very different than Twilight Zone. Let's see. Oh, Dino just made me laugh at this. I don't know what I said. She took fifth place in 1958. Any chasing her around doesn't want anything to do with him. Yeah. Jeanette Nolan, Miss Waddle, played more old crones and witches on TV shows than any other actress of her time. She was in Thriller. That's another kind of like Night Gallery, Circle Affair type show. Thriller, Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, more than one. Yeah. So Miss Waddle, very good. John McGee, what's going on? Dino's on a roll. Listen, I don't know. Paul Ham says Larry Hagman is determined to keep putting different souls in his wife's body until he gets. Yeah, I mean, yeah. How many times must we go through this? Baron Ridge. Hey, Baron Ridge, what's going on? Yes. How many times? So poor Miss Waddle. I don't know. He wants his hanky panky. Yeah. He says until we get it right. Yeah, okay. He did say that, as he says, until we get it right. Okay, he did say that at the very end. Okay. Thank you, Edward. I appreciate it. Listen, when you get just me, you get me babbling. So, it is what it is. If you enjoy me talking about these episodes, I will keep doing them until you don't like them no more. Then I'll move on and do something different. But sweet lady, Miss Waddle. Thriller has some excellent horror stories. Yes, I've seen a couple Thriller episodes, Paul Ham. Just checked. Yep, all 49 episodes are on Archive Groovy. Yes, J.O.B. Today earlier, because I didn't check, I'm like, it's got to be on something, Amazon or something. But no, you can't find it anywhere. You can even find Circle of Fear. Well, that's the way it goes, though. The more obscure stuff. I mean, Night Gallery's popular. It's a cult classic. Circle of Fear, you can find just about. You can even find the Kolchak episodes on YouTube. Yeah. Anyways, Tony Horror Writer. Yes, keep this analysis going. A horror classic. I like it. Thank you. I love the babbling, Edward Stewart. That's me. I don't know. I babble. I don't know what to say. Unless I'm with like somebody like Dave, I think me and Dave make a good team. We have good back and forth discussion. It allows me to settle down. I think I have some kind of what's that called? Where ADD is that it? Where I try to slow myself down, but I can't. I feel like I need to talk and talk and talk when I probably should slow it down. But then I feel if I go too slow, is that just going to be boring? But so it is what it is. Odd that the shows are hard to find even in the digital age. Yeah, that's what I was saying. J.O.B. Can't have you any other way. Thanks, Connie. I appreciate that. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Yep. Yeah, you and Dave do a great job. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Yeah, so Night Gallery revisiting. I mean, it's exactly what I remember and what I thought, because I tell you, it has been a long time. And Gift of Gab. Thank you, William Grover. But yeah, it's been so long, man, since I've seen this, and I really, really wanted to revisit these because with Dave hitting me with the Columbo, and then we were doing the Kolchaks and stuff. I'm like, you know, some of these series I need to revisit a lot of these. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of hitting old stuff at the moment, which is kind of fun. Let's see. Overnight tonight, you guys. Philo Vance got some good fixed audio episodes there. So it's going to be a good night. Philo Vance, man, good show. Uh, Popped Lana Turner up today for the shorts. Hopefully you guys are checking that out. Little bits of information, just like 60 seconds of information for these shorts. I've done Lana Turner today, and Sheridan, Betty Grable, Jean Harlow, Veronica Lake, Rita Hayworth. Talk about some beauties, man. Jean Tierney, Carolyn Jones, even Donna Reed back in the day. Beautiful. Lauren Bacall, of course, Joan Bennett, Leela Hyams. You guys remember her? Oh, boy. Carol Lombard, going way back. Even Anna Mae Wong. Very beautiful women. And again, Zane Stellar, I'm going to continue that. I'm not sure why Zane Stellar, Galactic Odyssey, that series, people aren't more interested in that, because Whispers in the Dark and Zane Stellar, the two best I think I've done on here so far. And Whispers in the Dark is doing pretty good. But like anything, it's drops and drops in numbers. I don't know why, but it's not like just that first episode was good. I know everybody wanted to come in, see what it was about. But Whispers in the Dark, it's somewhat inspired by, it is inspired by Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, stuff like that. So that's what that show's all about. And Zane Stellar, it's a pretty darn good. I put a lot of detail and information in that story just so you can envision the world that Zane Stellar is in. And I would ask to give a watch. Again, I'd like to continue the Johnny Ryder detective series that I got going, but the last one only had 790 views. So I'm not sure, which stories to keep going. I've got a full season of the Clue Club. I've got 10 episodes. That's ready to go, and that's ready to go up on a book, in book form. You should be able to get that in book form up on the Kindle in the coming months after the first of the year. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm loving your stories, Dino. Great content. Thank you very much. So many beautiful classic movie. Oh yeah, man. Connie Claire, love the actor shorts. Thank you. You've had some great gals so far, Dino. Yes. There's a lot of unknowns, or ones from the 20s and 30s that aren't as popular as, let's say, I mean, come on, Betty Grable, Joan Crawford, all of the big ones, Rita Hayworth. I mean, some of them are a little less known, but did a lot of stuff, and I will be hitting a lot of them. And then I got to get the actors too, eventually. But the actresses are going really good at the moment. So I will say to each, thank you, Regina. Exactly. I love Zane, Sweet Indigo. Thank you. I wish had a good compliment from somebody emailing me the other day about the Whispers in the Dark series. Like they're like, this definitely would make a great TV show. And listen, I agree. If somebody happens to see it one day, you never know. But Carol Lombard, oh, geez, I'm telling you, man, just so many beautiful women. You know how much I love the women of the 20s, the 30s, 40s, even, but 20s, 30s. There's just something glamorous about the way they looked and dressed and ah. Anyways, won't be on tomorrow. We'll be on Monday with Dave. Going to be a fun show. Tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. Hopefully, you guys all have a great New Year's Eve. Hopefully, everybody had a great Christmas. I thank you, Satemki of Falling Tree, for this $20 super chat. Did I miss something else? No. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let me see how many thumbs up before we leave. Let's see how many we got. 94 thumbs up. Wait a second. 6 away from 100. Can we get 6 more? What do I got to do to get 6 more? I enjoy laying it. Please give another thumbs up. I'm 6 away from 100. It's 9:10. I'd like to get 100. That would be cool. The Art Bell shows remind me of Joe Frank, Regina Daly. Very cool. Okay. J.Orabita. I enjoy laying in bed listening to the Art Bell show now and enjoying. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that what most of us do at night? Is we hit that thumbs up button? We're 4 away, 3 away from 100. I'd like to get to 100. That would be awesome. Thank you, Paul Ham. Excellent episode. Yes, I'd like to get somebody to jump on with me and talk about these episodes. So maybe I'll go on a little bit of a search and see if there's somebody who's good on the camera, who like me and Dave can do these night gallery streams with me. I think I might go ahead and do that. So I'm on the search for looking for somebody. If you think you got what it takes, then shoot me a message. But anyways, I enjoy living. Yeah, I think that's what we all do at night, right? I mean, listen to these shows and drift away into sleep. Yeah, still at 97 thumbs up. I might not make it before the end, and that's okay. I know I'll make it soon after the episode ends, but these shows help you unwind at night. Well, thank you, J.O.B. I just noticed the plant behind Dino. Yes, yes, yes. Dave's got one now. So we're going to fill up with plants. There's going to be a jungle in here with all my toys. So whatever. I don't know. Yeah, just 97 thumbs up. Okay. I think I'll end it here, you guys. And here we go. What is this? Ree Larson. Wait a second. Ree Larson. Is that a take on Brie Larson? Come on. A thumbs up. Thank you, super sticker 199. Ree Larson. Yeah, can't wait to see some new movies by you, Brie Larson. Thank you very much for the thumbs up and the 199 super sticker. I love it, and I love that it says Ree Larson. Let's see. Let me redo that. 98 thumbs up. Okay. Let me hold on a second. Let me see. Let me check this out. Let me check this out. This channel. Head on bully. What's going on? Oh, sorry. Just looking at something. Okay. Just was checking out the channel. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great new year, and much love to everybody. You got this. More plants, and it's Dino's little studio of horrors. Yeah.